Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Around the Blockchain here on BitBoy Crypto. As you know, it's the absolute largest and best community in all of the crypto interwebs. My name is Justin. I'm your host for today. Every day, Monday through Friday, we come to you 5 p.m. Eastern to bring you Around the Blockchain. We have got a great show for you today. Who do we got? We got Blockchain Boy. Now, make sure to check out his NFT launch on Theta this evening. Who got next? New background, new attitude. Who dis? Oh, it's CryptoJebb. Up next, we got Altcoin Daily. If you want to check out why Bitcoin dropped yesterday, check out the video that he released. And last but not least, you call him Ben, you call him BitBoy, I call him Skip, because that is the Yankee way. We got Ben Armstrong. Wow, I'm super excited to be hosting Around the Blockchain. If this is your first time watching, you see everybody's got a little score down in the corner. We are going to be giving them questions, and they are going to be giving you answers. And if you like what you hear, make sure to hit a +1 if you are in that chat. And also, go down to the description, follow their links, like their content, subscribe to their content if you haven't already. All right, what are we going to talk about today? I think we got some crazy things going on in the markets. The Bollinger, John Bollinger is bullish on Bitcoin. Ethereum whales are making some big moves, and XRP deals a big blow to the SEC. All right, before we get into our topic, first topic of the day, let's hop over to Market Watch. What do we got? The global crypto market is 2.1 trillion. That is a 1.3% increase over yesterday. It's nice to see things on their way back up. We know the last couple of days have been pretty rough. Still down over the last 24 hours. We're seeing Cardano up, BNB up just a little bit. Polkadot up 7.6%. Chainlink up 4.8%. It's nice to see that that moving its way back up. All right, that was your quick market watch for today. We again, we got a great show. Let's see. Don't forget to hit the like button, smash that like button, and enjoy.
I did.
This show. You did. I appreciate you, man.
I smashed the like.
Everyone here is doing their part, and I love it.
Got to pull our weight.
Yes, yeah. If you don't smash the like, well, maybe you can't watch anymore. No, I'm just kidding. We love you anyway. All right, let's get into the first topic for today. John Bollinger, he copyrighted the Bollinger Band technical indicator back in the 80s. He has tweeted that he's now bullish on Bitcoin, and he called Tuesday's crash epic and noted that Bitcoin managed to touch both the upper and lower bands in the same day. All right, Blockchain Boy, I'm going to start with you on this one. So last week we did have a huge pump and then crashed hard on Tuesday after our bank holiday. Do you think we're going to see something similar this weekend?
I mean, historically, September's been an iffy month. I don't think we're necessarily out of the woods yet, but I remain very fundamentally bullish. I managed to catch that bottom of the dip at about 4 in the morning on Tuesday, so don't ask me why I was awake. I was trading and managed to hop into some ICP and some other trades, so that was pretty exciting. I think we will probably see Bitcoin tick back up towards the end of the month. I don't necessarily think that this was anything other than a brief correction. We did see an incredible rise. So that's me personally. Now, I think people kind of put a little too much faith when they see expert traders like this, or the guy who had that movie The Big Short made around him. But I think it gives it more stock when more people talk about it. So if he says something that's likely to happen and 20,000 people see it, then it's more likely to happen than if he hadn't said anything at all. That's my take on it. So we'll see.
I like that. And never apologize for being up in the middle of the night like a true degen trading. We all do it.
I'm a crypto degen. Look at them NFTs, them short-term trades.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. All right, Jebb, I'm going to come to you on this one. Bollinger Bands have been a pretty good indicator for the last few months. Are you worried about resistance at the top of this band?
So, well, I can look at it really quickly. The Bollinger Bands, if you guys don't know, are one of the most commonly used technical indicators that show up on your chart, and I can bring up what they look like here on Bitcoin briefly. On Bitcoin right now, I'm looking at them. We actually bounced off of the bottom of the bands just a little while ago, and we were outside of the bands on the upper side, so we were breaking bullish above them before we had this correction start. And I guess now you can say that John Bollinger has jumped on the bandwagon. I'm sorry, I'll see myself out. But sis. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, John Bollinger is a very.
That was good.
Thank you. Somebody laughed at that. I know you're the king.
That
of
was
dad
good.
Jokes.
It took me a minute, but that was good.
I see you're
too
young.
Jokes are supposed to take a minute.
Yeah, you're too young to be making dad jokes, man.
Yeah, I'm not a dad, at least as far as I know. But as we were saying, John Bollinger is a very, very, very John Bollinger is a very well-known man, and he created the Bollinger Bands, which are a fantastic indicator. I don't even know what the question was because I went so off topic. What was the question again?
The question is, are you worried about the resistance at the top of the band?
No, I'm not at all. And right now, there's not a lot of resistance at the top of the band. I mean, the resistance at the top of the band on Bollinger Bands on the daily chart sitting at $52,000. If we look down on the 4-hourly chart, it's sitting at $53,000. If we're looking at the hourly chart, it's sitting at $47,000. There is some resistance sitting on Bitcoin around $47,000. And the reason for that is because we have touched that level 4 times. So any of my chartists and analysts out there, make sure you go and check your chart on the hourly chart. Bitcoin's tested $47,400 to be specific 4 times in the last 2 days ever since the big dump. The Bollinger Bands are sitting right there. I am actually a little bit concerned about the hourly chart Bollinger Bands just because we've been trading sideways for so long. We've been under them for a long time. But what I want people to remember is that the more times you test a level of support or resistance, the more likely it is for that level of support or resistance to break. In this case, we've tested at $47,400 or about $47,000 where the hourly chart Bollinger Bands are 4 times. We have an uptrending level of support beneath us. So while I am very concerned about a short-term, while I am very much in the camp that there may be a short-term correction over the next few hours, maybe on into the next 24 hours, I think in the next 7 days we're going to break 47 and be heading back up to 50.
I think that's a great analysis right there. Now, Bollinger did say that he's currently targeting the upper band, again, pointing to a good risk-reward setup. That upper band, I think, is we hit on about 50, a little over 52,000, somewhere around there. Now, back in June, he accurately predicted that Bitcoin was going to reclaim 50,000, which anybody could have made that claim. I mean, we knew it was going to happen. So, Altcoin Daily, will you turn bearish if we dip below the Bollinger channels? And at what point do you turn bearish?
Yo, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me on. I like what you just pointed out before you asked me the question. John Bollinger, said it touched the top of the band and it went to the bottom of the band. So he says now he's bullish on Bitcoin. But then he also said, I'm just bullish on it getting back up to the top of the band. So he's just bullish on it getting up a few $1,000s. So on the other hand, it is pretty cool that the John Bollinger of Bollinger Bands knows what Bitcoin is. And obviously a lot of traders like his metrics. And obviously it just speaks to the fact that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is a legitimate asset class when just, a cycle ago or 2 cycles ago, people weren't talking about this stuff. People didn't know what Bitcoin or cryptocurrency was. Now, if it falls below the Bollinger Bands, that's something more for CryptoJebb, the trader. And I happen to agree with CryptoJebb. I'm not sure if the resistance above at the top of the Bollinger Bands is a problem, and I'm not sure that I'm too worried about the resistance on the Bollinger Bands, and I'm not too worried about any illegitimate children that I might have, just like CryptoJebb.
Yes, I am certainly not worried about that at all.
I fumbled it.
Well, my dad wasn't either, but he ended up getting a surprise.
Anyway, I don't, it doesn't, it could go lower, of course.
Sorry,
fundamentals,
son.
fundamentals.
Sorry, son.
Sorry,
I was taking
Orlando.
that time of my life, man. So
Are the rumors true?
Yeah, you can come jump on in, son. I'll take you for a ride.
Oh gosh.
Oh, still remembers that day he was in his room when Dad went out to the store. Never
Hey,
came back.
milk ain't gonna get itself,
I'm
all
not
right.
a short-term trader. I'm not a short-term trader. What I think about Bitcoin is higher than it was at the beginning of the year, and at the beginning of the year, it's higher than it was, 6 months before that, and 6 months before that, and of course, it was maybe lower than it was at the top of the last cycle. But then going 6 months, just over enough period of time, Bitcoin's trending up.
Excellent. Ben, do you see any correlation between Bollinger Bands and the Fibonacci targets?
No, I don't see. I think it's all garbage. Is that right? No, I don't think Fibonacci is garbage or Bollinger Bands. I think that these are 2 of the most commonly used ones. But as I said yesterday, what I really want to say is I do believe in charts. I do believe in TA. But right now, I think you can throw the TA out the window. We talked about this yesterday. Right now, what we're going to see is an explosion at some point. It's going to be very fast. It's going to be very furious. And so I think when you're looking at, will this touch the top of the bands, or will this hit, the golden fib number? I'm not worried about any of that right now. All I'm worried about is if we don't get to 100K in the next 2 months, we're not getting there for 4 years. So I don't care what the charts say. It's a 4-year cycle. We're coming to 3-year and 10 month, really, if you want to get technical, closer to 3 year and 10 months. But that's what we're looking at here is to achieve the 4-year cycle goals, it's got to happen fast. I guarantee you there is not one chart that you can look at that people are counting on right now. They're going to show where Bitcoin's going to go in the short term. So 2 months from now, people are going to look back and they're like, where on the charts did it show that this was coming? And it's not. That's because the people that are moving the money, like the whales we'll talk about with the Ethereum, they don't care what your chart says. All they're looking at is these short-term moves from the top of a band to a bottom of a band. That is all about accumulation for the whales. So, in my mind, you can look at the RSI, you can look at the EMAs, you can look at market Cipher, you can look at Bollinger Bands, you can look at anything you want to look at right now. But none of them, I believe, in my opinion, are going to show what's going to happen.
All right. Did you have something to add on there, Jeb?
Yeah, actually, so Ben, I completely agree with you. There's a lot more going on right now than the charts, but I think the charts do have a very vital role right now, even though there is a lot of things that is moving the price action other than just the charts. The thing that the charts are giving us a lot of help with right now is where we actually move to. So, for example, I completely agree with you that Tuesday was a massive manipulative event, but the exact price that we fell down to was predicted by the charts, or was at least shown by the charts, because there was an uptrending level of support right around 42,700. So the movement itself might not be called by the markets, but by the charts, but the charts may give us an idea of where we're going to go. And to your question that you asked, Jay Chains, the Bollinger Bands right now on the daily chart are sitting right in between the Fibonacci golden pocket on 61.8 to 65%, which sits between $51,380 and $52,600. So there's a convergence of support, a zone right there at 52K that's really important that we break. So if one of those big manipulative events come through, then 52K is going to be one of the big levels for them to break through.
Excellent. Well, I like where you went there. I just learned something. Thank you very much. All right, let's scoot on to the next topic. Keep this show moving along today. But before we do, if you are watching this show live, make sure you hit that like button, please. Looks like we got, what do we got? 1,400 likes. Let's try to get that thing up. Let's get it up. Frank, do you see how many people we have watching live?
Oh, like 8K.
8,800, I think.
8,800. Let's.
We can get way more likes.
We should definitely have more.
Oh no, 8,200. 8,200.
Okay.
Pump them likes.
Kanye or Drake? Let us know in the chat. Kanye or Drake?
That'll get the likes.
Donda album of the year. Donda was so good.
How'd you like Donda?
Donda was so good.
Terrible.
You liked it?
No.
I loved
Drake was so
good.
Kanye's
Drake is. I think they're both meh. Both the albums this year, the new albums are meh.
NF is the best.
Old Yeezy.
I like
old
Drake.
Yeezy better than new
Drake's
Yeezy.
I'm waiting for that Kendrick album, guys.
You like it,
All right,
Aaron?
I'm more of a Kanye. I like Drake and Kanye. I'm more of a Kanye stan. I think Drake's album was kind of uninspired. There weren't too many Drake bangers. There were some good songs.
100%.
I liked
Agree,
a lot of,
totally.
I just like that Kanye is constantly changing his sound and pushing the envelope with creativity. So that's inspiring. Not all the songs were fire, but overall, I say yes to Donda.
We need technical analysis on their listens on Spotify and everything. That'd be some good stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I think Kanye's Fibonacci number was probably like 2012. So.
All right, let's move on. The XRP versus SEC. This court case is starting to heat up. Now, Ripple wants the SEC to comment on whether or not Bitcoin and ETH are securities. The regulator continues to insist that the legal status of Bitcoin and Ethereum are not relevant to the case, and the SEC is asking the court not to compel the agency to provide additional answers to Ripple's queries. Now, let's see. Altcoin Daily, I'll start with you on this one. Does the status of Bitcoin and Ethereum as securities, is that relevant to this case or not?
I think it's, I guess it's a smart strategy by Ripple. Bitcoin is definitely not a security. Ethereum is not a security. It was deemed not a security. And I think it's past the statute of limitations from when they had their original offering. But I understand why XRP or Ripple is doing it. In my opinion, though, here's the thing with Ethereum, they are changing things greatly as they transition to ETH 2.0. So there is some wiggle room for, Ripple to try and say that's a security. But I ultimately don't think either will be a security unless something weird happens with ETH.
All right. CryptoJebb, next one I'm going to come to you. Now, the agency is accusing the defendants of trying to trap into answering these questions about the legal status of Bitcoin and ETH, pointing out the fact that it has never brought an enforcement action against either of these two cryptos. If they do have to answer this, do you consider that to be a trap, or is this just case precedent?
If that's a trap, then defending yourself in any court of law is a trap. That's a ridiculous statement by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, and they've been trying very hard to come after the cryptocurrency space for a very long time, but especially over the last 3 months. Now they're trying to go after Coinbase, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, I think, their lending program. Gary Gensler was in Europe a couple of weeks ago saying that the cryptocurrency space cannot survive, and it certainly can't thrive without regulation. The SEC wants to control the cryptocurrency space. We just had a U.S. district attorney for 8 years, federal prosecutor, excuse me, come out and say this morning that the SEC wants nothing more than to completely control cryptocurrency. He's been working alongside them. That's what he said. They want to control cryptocurrency. Here's the thing on that point, because it's actually very important, and it does kind of upset me a little bit. Absolutely, it is important whether or not Bitcoin or Ethereum are securities. And the SEC saying it's not relevant is them trying to force XRP and Ripple to not present evidence to defend themselves. There's a concept in law called precedence. The precedence of whether or not Bitcoin and Ethereum are securities has everything to do with XRP, because XRP's closest comparison is Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, sure, there are differences in the way that XRP is operated, but the fact is, the SEC knows that they, one, want to control cryptocurrency. They also know, two, that they can't come after Bitcoin and Ethereum because they've already been deemed not securities. So sure, they're going to go after XRP. And they don't want the court and the public to hear about how Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities, because they know it's going to put egg on their face, which they've already got a lot of anyway. They're trying to make it impossible for Ripple to defend themselves in this case, and it keeps looking worse and worse and worse for them. The more information that comes out about this, the more corrupt and dirty the SEC looks than it already did. The fact of the matter is, the SEC does not need to regulate cryptocurrency so the cryptocurrencies can succeed. We need to have a way of having more public accountability over corrupt agencies like this, because we can't succeed when the government's acting this way. That's my 2 cents.
Jeb, I love your passion right there. I think a lot of people probably would agree with exactly everything that you just said there. So good on you for bringing that up. Thank you very much. Blockchain Boy, next one comes to you. XRP has had a huge run up over the last month. Now, given that, would you recommend staying on the sidelines if you're new to the space, new to investing? Do you think it's smarter to stay on the sidelines, or is it time to make your move?
Listen, I'm a little biased. I don't hold XRP. I don't trade XRP. I mean, to me, it's just a centralized banker coin that does nothing for me. I'm passionate about DeFi, and I respect the fact that people, want to have XRP. I'm not trying to don't come brigade me again. I've had enough of that. Personally, I think XRP is one of those, either it's going to pay off greatly or it's going to go not do anything. Until this court case is resolved, which I don't believe it's going to be resolved before the end of the bull run, the price for XRP will continue to be suppressed by this court case. I mean, look at what it's done compared to the rest of the market. I think you said a huge run up. I think that's like, I don't know if you can justify that, because we've seen every other relevant cryptocurrency from 2017 blow past their previous high, except for the ones that really aren't, they don't really have relevance anymore. And XRP is the one that everyone talks about, but the price never does anything. So from a purely profit-driven perspective, unless you're just going to be day trading XRP, which there are better options out there with more volatility, it just seems like you'd be making a bet on if the court case is going to be over before the end of the bull run or not.
Now, I mean, that's like completely intellectually dishonest, what you just said. Like, it's very clear that the entire reason the price has not moved is because of the SEC lawsuit. It's not like people are just betting on Ripple and it's just not moving and it just didn't hit an all-time high. It's very obvious why it didn't hit the all-time high. Without the SEC lawsuit last year, it would be way past all-time highs by now. It would probably be already at $5 minimum. If you look at where Ethereum went and where Bitcoin went, and XRP had just started that move when they dropped the lawsuit and started delisting it, there's hardly anywhere to trade it. So to sit there and say that XRP is just, we're lumping it in with all these irrelevant coins from 2017, I mean, that's asinine. I did say the price was suppressed. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm also saying from a trading perspective, it won't be unsuppressed anytime soon. And personally, I think if someone really wanted to, it's not like people aren't able to trade XRP. You can go make an Uphold account. Like my buddy who knows nothing about crypto but had XRP, traded his XRP for Matic right before that huge run up, which was a great trading decision. But it's not like if someone didn't want to get XRP, like they can find a way to get it. But like at the same time, I think you're way overestimating the novice in crypto, because I get asked that question a zillion times. Where can I get XRP? Like most people, they're on Binance.us, and Coinbase. And if it is outside of that, they don't know how to get there. If they know it's on Uphold and it's an app that they can download, but I've had to coach people in that direction, especially when we were having people,
price suppression. Exactly. I'm not denying that there's price suppression, but I also don't know if this is a personal opinion. I don't know if XRP would have performed as well as people think. I mean, I think it could easily get to $5, $10, $15. Once this case is settled, if they settled it today and XRP won, we'd see an instant moon to like $3, $4. I mean, ridiculously. But at the same time, like, I just don't think that court case is going to be over before the end of this run. So if you really want to hop into XRP, like, personally, there's no financial advice. I'd wait till that case was settled. Hopefully they'll win. Like, I'm not a fan of Ripple, but I still want them to win a lawsuit for the good of crypto. Hopefully if they win that, it'll be at a place where you can accumulate at a good price before the next cycle starts.
If you don't think that the case is going to end by the end of this cycle, which I think we're kind of assuming is going to happen in the next month or two, when do you possibly think they will settle?
I mean, it's like trying to guess when a Bitcoin ETF comes out. You don't know when it's going to happen. Personally, I think the SEC is just going to keep trying and clawing their dirty hands on this case until they just have no other options. So, I mean, personally, I don't really foresee it being resolved before the end of the year, which is why I say that. But it's just a personal opinion based off of my own conclusions. So we'll see. If it happens next month, then more power to you guys. We'll see it.
The other thing about that, may I really quickly? The other thing about that, the SEC wants this case to drag out because they don't like Ripple and they want to have control of the cryptocurrency space and they want the cryptocurrency space to look terrible and they want XRP to have its price suppressed. So if the SEC, which is now getting much more familiar with the crypto space, thinks that the bull market's going to be over in the next 6 months, they have every way of literally manipulating the price by just continuing the court case, because leaving the court case open for as long as possible advances their objective, which is to keep the price down and make cryptocurrency look bad. So they have every reason to drag out the court case. So I actually agree with you, Blockchain Boy, that once that court case gets resolved, it's probably going to lead to a massive jump in that. But do we know that it's going to happen before the market's over? So that's a good point.
I think that you're completely wrong, because I think you're believing that Ripple and the SEC are on separate sides.
So, elaborate. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
They're on the same side.
I'd love to hear it.
Who do you think Gary Gensler is? Who do you think Lizard Man Gary Gensler is?
Oh, he's probably big. He's probably big invested in XRP, to be honest with you.
He's a
Goldman Sachs MIT teacher.
Boom. There you go. He is as thick with the banking cartel as you can get.
Yep.
And the next 4 to 5 years are going to show how thick Ripple is inside the banking cartel.
That's true.
All of this, I love what TJ said yesterday about the Coinbase thing, which is it's all political theater. That's what this is. They're really all on the same side. So I think that this thing is going to break loose very soon, because that was part of the plan the whole time. And I do want to say one thing about the Coinbase lawsuit yesterday, that we, the pending lawsuit from Coinbase, which is also political theater that's never going to happen on their Lend program. What the SEC is actually doing here is they are sending a shot across the bow that they will not have competitors where people can just take USDC and earn 4% on that. Why? Because these bond yields are going to be going down, and they don't want any way for people to make money in the markets that's better than these bond yields. They want to push people to these bond yields, and that's where the deflation is going. So that's kind of the hidden story within this that, with that Coinbase I wanted to mention from yesterday. They will not put up with competition there.
I completely agree also. Yeah, you're right.
It's kind of disgusting to watch it happen, to be honest with you. That infuriated me.
It's disgusting. It's not surprising, though, unfortunately.
They want to protect those in the know, and everyone else, they can, they say, hit the road, Jack. You're not getting the freaking thing. It's annoying.
Give it to me, Jay Chains. What's up?
I will. So everything that we're all saying right here and what you know, do you think that this basically is decided, and everything that we're seeing, hearing, it's all decided already, and it's all just for show, that political theater that Ben was just talking about?
I think there's a lot of show. I think there's things that they want to happen. It's not as if it's already been decided, but they're pushing it in one direction or another. And I'm totally on board with what you're talking about with its political theater for Coinbase, and just going after Coinbase for a 4% lending program doesn't make sense. That was a front page of Wall Street Journal. They're clearly just trying to influence the market. Regarding XRP, I mean, I think like they are going to win the case, or if not win, just get a slap on the wrist, because every single time the SEC has sued any securities offering, it's just been a slap on the wrist. I have a question for Ben though. Let's say I think if if Bitcoin tops out around 100,000 to 120,000, which I think you were talking about, and let's say around the same time XRP Ripple wins their case, and let's say it immediately gets listed at Kraken and Coinbase, and then that's near the cycle top. What do you think? XRP, how big? I'm saying everything's perfect.
Well, there's one thing that is, I guess, what you remember that game F-Zero? Does anybody remember that game you used to play on Super Nintendo? There's F-Zero, you're racing, and then you got that thruster, the nitro, and you could go super fast. The nitro for the XRP bull run is if they go ahead and announce that they are going public and give us a date for that. If that happens, that's the most bullish case. So SEC lawsuit is settled, and before the end of the run, that's announced. That would be the nitro fuel that could push it between $20 and $30. But I think, without that, I think we're definitely looking at $12 to $15 very easily. Because here's why though, just real quick. Like, if you think about that suppression, the suppression is going to be gone. So Ripple should have already hit $5. So 12 to 15 for the most parabolic part of the run, like 2xing basically. It's, where it would have been earlier in this run. It's not outlandish at all. I think $12, $15 is very reasonable.
I have a question.
Go for
I'll
it.
save my question. I know we're short on time.
No. We can talk about this the rest of the time if you guys want. That's fine. This is important.
Yeah.
What happens if it doesn't break? Or what if it doesn't break $5? Like, and the lawsuit, even if they win the lawsuit, we can come back and talk about that. I don't know. I kind of have my suspicions as to whether or not the competitors will catch up, but we'll see what happens.
What competitors? There's no competitors to XRP. There's no competitors to XRP.
I mean,
there are zero competitors to XRP. This has already been decided. All those crazy XRP army people, they were right the whole time. It's already been decided. This is
that's
done.
a very big claim.
You're saying 528 or whatever? Is that what you're saying? 528? It's math.
Is that
589? 589.
589. Let's go. I'm not going to say 589, but yeah, it's already decided. We're covering a very special patent that just came out that is a global financial system that has Ripple all over it. You guys can find that on our channel this week. We got a secret document most people haven't seen, and I know I sound like one of the crazy XRP people. I guess I am now. I guess I'm the crazy XRP guy now. But all this has already been decided. You look at the moves they're making around the world. That's just not an option. It's just not an option that it flops. XLM is Kusama for Polkadot. That's what XLM is for XRP. When you see these countries like Ukraine saying they're going to test out XLM, that's just a breeding ground for what XRP will eventually take over. XLM is no competitor to XRP. It's not even close. And as Aaron pointed out last time he was on the show, it's way more centralized than XRP.
Absolutely. Altcoin Daily, you had another question. Let's hear it.
I thought we had a hard out, but yeah, my final question for Ben is, what have you ever thought about, like, what if you're wrong? What if people who think, I'm talking about lengthening cycles. What if it's not close to topping out? What % chance do you think we're doing a lengthening cycle, that theory?
It's a great question. I just don't, like, at the end of the day, I can't put a percentage on it because I do not believe it is going to happen, period. The deflation kicks in the fall. You're seeing all the chess pieces moved right now. You think we're going to start going into deflation and then Bitcoin's going to pump afterwards? No, it's not going to happen. This winter is going to be one of the hardest economic winters we've had in a long time in America since 2008. We are going into a recession. The stock market is going to fall. And guess what? Bitcoin's going to fall too. I said earlier today, I believe this is actually going to be the very worst bear market ever because we're going into deflation. That means the value of the dollar is now going to be going up, grading against Bitcoin that's going down. So I also think this is going to be the best buying opportunity since Bitcoin was created in the next year.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ben, go ahead.
No. Go on, Jeff.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ben, I totally agree with you. I think a recession is coming, and I also totally agree with you. I think we're about to see a fantastic time to buy Bitcoin. I'm not challenging you on this, but I just genuinely don't know. Can you explain to me and to some people at home again, because I know you have before, why are we going into deflation, so that we know why that's going to happen?
Okay, so if we were to continue on inflation right now, then that means the only option for the U.S. government is to continue printing money. And if they're printing money, then what are they doing? They're handing it out to everybody. Okay. Everybody talks about this, our whole economy being a house of cards, and at some point it's just going to crumble. The world will not let the United States economy crumble. We are too valuable to the world economy to become Venezuela or go through hyperinflation. These are things I didn't understand last year. Last year, these are things I would have told you, no, we could go through hyperinflation.
No, I agree with you so far.
Yeah, that's not the way this works. So if they were to just continue printing money, they will destroy the dollar. But they know that. The government's position of power is dependent on them being able to keep control of the currency. You think they're just going to give that up? So here comes blockchain. Here comes USDC. Here comes a digital dollar, Fed coin, whatever you want to call it. This is, now I don't know if this is going to be in the fall, but this is how they ultimately will reverse the inflation in the long term and make the dollar more valuable, because there will be global demand for it, because it will become borderless. You won't need to go through some complicated process to trade your Mexican pesos for US dollars or your German francs for US dollars. You just go to Coinbase and buy USDC. Think about that. So we're going to create a much higher demand for the US dollar, and we're going to stop inflating the supply, and we're going to cut out a lot of the government handouts. That's why it's part of why this recession is going to be so bad. Yeah. Because people that have been used to the free money train are going to be off of it. So that is kind of the process, but this is going to be a multi-year. In Japan, they've been in it for 20 years, deflation. This is not going to be 1 year and it's back. It's going to be a big process. You're seeing the chess pieces with the bond yields being lowered right now, and with banks cutting people's credit. They're trying to hold on to the money. And I know this sounds counterintuitive to everything we talked about in crypto for 10 years, but you're going to want to hold on to cash during this time.
Makes sense. The one thing I want to know from you is, and I'll ask this and then I'll leave the floor open. Why is that going to start happening so soon? Because you're talking about this really beginning to have a massive impact on the crypto market over the next 2 months. I definitely see that being something that could happen over the next 10 years.
Not necessarily 2 months. The way I see it happening is this starts unfolding in the fall, in October, November. They may push it back to November. December, it will start, but that's why I say winter, because really January and February is when this will start kicking into people what's happening. And I'll tell you the number one clue to this. The number one clue, other than bond yields, that's the biggest clue. Whenever you see the bond yields come down, we're going into deflation. Yeah. But other than that, the number one, the logical clue that you can read the tea leaves and find is, when Jerome Powell is warning you about inflation, when the government is warning you about inflation, what does that tell you? You trust the government?
Nope.
The government's trying to walk you down a responsible financial place? No. They're getting ready to pull the rug out from under you. They want everybody thinking inflation. They want everybody jumping into stocks, jumping into Bitcoin, because they know what's coming. They want to hold on to their dollars. The Fed wants to hold on to the dollars. The banks want to hold on to the dollars. This is what's happening right now. So it will take several months. This is a process. So at first, when this starts happening, people think it's a good thing, because you're like, oh, wow, I have higher purchasing power. I can go to the store, and now instead of getting, milk for $4, I could get milk for $2.80. That sounds really great.
It's not.
But that leads to less profits for the companies, and less profits for the companies leads to unemployment, leads to laying people off, leads to people not having jobs to be able to work, to create money to, provide for their families. So that's why it's a slow burn. And that's why I think people won't really realize this is actually going on until about January, February next year.
Gotcha.
Well, we will be on the lookout. Go ahead, Blockchain Boy. Go ahead, man.
I'm watching the jobs reports pretty closely because for like the last year and a half, we've seen, just unlimited money printing and unlimited quantitative easing. And I'm really waiting to see sort of because we just had the August jobs report that was supposed to be almost 1 million jobs, and it was 230,000, which is terrible. Good for the short-term stock market though, because they will continue to print until those jobs reports and inflation looks better. So I don't think the Fed will taper probably until late Q4 into next year, which is exactly what Ben, the timeline that he's saying. Yeah. So that's another supporting piece of evidence for that. Now, I don't know if deflation is going to happen instantly. I think it's a lot more likely we'll see a large pullback in the stock market, which has been sort of propped up even harder. I mean, we were still overextended before the pandemic, and now the stock market has never seen such a great divide from the true, economy in America. So I'm really bracing for impact, and I have I've started selling off some of my crypto to add to my USDC and cash positions. So, and I did buy the dip, but it's short-term positions right now. Really trying to get that pile together to buy the dip when that massive dip comes.
All right. Well, speaking of dip, that'll do it for today. That was a quick way to end it, but we got baseball practice, so we got to get going. But Blockchain Boy, that was a nice comeback from behind win right there. You scooped a few points there at the end of the show to take it for today. Why don't you leave us with a little bit of your parting words as we say goodnight.
Well, thanks everybody, Jebb, Altcoin Daily, and of course Ben and the team here. Thanks for having me on. And if you guys want to support a good cause here, I'm doing my Theta drop. You can check my Twitter for that. We're supporting St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital with every sale of the NFTs. Thanks for having me, guys, and take care. Have a good one.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. This has been another great episode of Around the Blockchain. My name is Jay Chains. I will see you here tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Eastern, for the special Friday edition. Have yourself a good night.